Sky hurtling through the air is extremely dangerous, but that's why parachutes were invented. Now, regular skydiving started to get boring for this next guy, so now he just jumps without a chute. Most people view the dog lover as one of the world's most extreme athletes. But believe it or not, 34-year-old software engineer Greg Gasson is about to put his life on the line, attempting to jump out of one plane and land in another without getting chopped to bits by the propeller. As a child, Greg would accompany his father to military air shows and was captured by the spectacles in the sky. When he turned 18, Greg worked up the nerve to take skydiving lessons. He was instantly hooked.
It's just an incredible feeling. The thing that attracts me most about skydiving is in every area of my life, at some point or another, I'm thinking about skydiving. But when I'm skydiving, I'm not thinking about anything else.
In the 17 years since, Greg has captured 2 World Freestyle Skydiving Championships and become one of the sport's most enthusiastic innovators. While most people drive to the drop zone on the road, Greg and his death-defying friends drive there out of the back of a freight plane.
That was probably the most surreal skydive I've ever made. We're in a car, but we're 13,000 feet up. I just remember it just being very quiet in the car and like looking over, you know, I wanted to say something, but I just didn't have anything to say. I was literally just speechless.
As unbelievable as it may sound, Greg has even made several perilous jumps in which he only holds on to his parachute by one hand.
When people are first watching it, they're, okay, he's crazy, you know, he's skydiving without his parachute.
So what could be more daring? How about hanging on for dear life by your ankles? But when approached for the Ripley's Challenge, Greg wanted to try an even more outrageous dive, jumping from plane to plane. Here's how it works. Greg will climb aboard one plane. Once both craft reach 10,000 feet, the other plane shuts down its engine and goes into a 120-mile-an-hour free fall, using a small chute to slow the descent. Greg must now jump out of his plane and try to climb into the other one. But if the pilot restarts the engine before Greg's inside, he'll be shredded instantly.
Well, how many people in the world, you know, can say, hey, you know, I've jumped out of one plane, flew over to another, and landed in it?
Even if everything goes well, Greg will only have 20 seconds to board the other plane. But just to catch it, he'll have to dive at an astonishing 150 miles an hour.
So I want to approach it from the rear. Ideally, if I can, I'd like to have one hand grip here, one here, and put a foot right there.
But during a test run, a potentially deadly problem arises. Although the plane's engine is shut off, the propeller continues to spin during free fall. Even the slightest contact with the blades could prove fatal.
Getting hit by that, you know, lose a hand or a foot or, you know, even your head.
Back on the ground, Greg and his crew improvise a solution.
So we've mounted this tube on the side of the engine, and down inside we have a wooden dowel. So I stop the engine in level flight, the prop stops. I reach up and I shove the wooden dowel up into the prop and it comes up into here and stops it. Now on the restart, I gotta remember to reach down and pull that dowel out and then go to restart.
Not sure if their quick fix will work, these aerial acrobats get back in the air. After reaching the proper altitude and positioning the planes, Greg prepares to take the plunge. He knows that this is his last chance to back out. In a bold leap, Greg jumps from his plane, but instantly encounters trouble. He overshoots the target. But his mastery of the sport allows him to brake in midair. Greg spreads his body, causing wind resistance, which will slow him down, right underneath the plane's nose.
You know, he's leaned over his cockpit and he's looking out at me and he's waving, come on, come on. There's definitely that moment of clarity when I see the plane and Chuck, they're just falling straight down, and I just knew right then, okay, this is it, it's gonna happen.
I look at him, I'm like, okay, he's here. I look at the altimeter and we're at 5,000 feet and we're supposed to break off at 4. We only got 5 seconds. And finally I just grabbed his chest strap and pull him in. So he'd gone below our break-off. He was in there halfway in. I wasn't going to throw him out.
Only moments from disaster, the pair level out, only to realize that now the engine won't restart. Frustration turns to fear among the crew as the engine refuses to turn over. The pilot manages to keep his cool and masterfully glides the plane to a safe landing. Despite dangerous crosswinds, Greg and his support team survive what could have easily become their last flight.
Oh, it's fantastic. So fun. Let's go up and do it again.
And that's enough to keep Greg flying high, even when his 2 feet are firmly planted on the ground.
Oh, it feels absolutely fantastic. I mean, this is something I've wanted to do all my life, and I just got a chance to do it.